Share screen, start video. What's up, bro?
Yo, what's the deal? I saw the clips. You love to see it.
Yes, sir. Lord willing. It's a great album.
Yeah, that's a classic.
For sure. How's your day
All
been?
right, man. How you been? I've been smooth. I really kind of just woke up like 30, 40 minutes ago. So
Oh, okay.
I'm
Okay. Nice. Yeah,
still
I just
catching up a bit.
my routine, workout, shit like that. I gotta eat
Where
breakfast after this.
so I guess the way these go is it's not super formal and all this stuff. It's really just chopping it up. Um I guess the basic goal of like kind of doing the Zooms is just simulating that experience of like, let's say, you just hanging with someone and you just talking literally about music, et cetera, et cetera. So I did one with Ty the other day, and it was kind of like that. It was just really just chopping it up. So
Okay.
um, yeah, so I guess we'll start off just with like the usual kind of just like questions everybody asks you. How'd you get into music? What was you listening to that kind of just directed you that way, or if there was like life stuff that kind of got you into it.
Okay. Yeah, it was like a mix of that stuff. I mean, early on, I was always just like a fan of music and art and stuff. My first passion was drawing when I was a kid. My aunt got me into that. I used to spend a lot of time with my aunt, just because my mom would work a lot. And my aunt was only like maybe a few years older than me. She was in high school when I was in elementary, so we were pretty close. Um, but then, yeah, just watching BET growing up, seeing like Kanye videos, like Touch the Sky or like uh, All Falls Down and just shit like that. And then seeing Pharrell and Snoop with the beautiful video and
Man,
just like fronting and stuff like that. That was like, oh, wow, this is cool. I really like this. I don't know what it was about it, the sound or like the visuals, the colors, but I was always drawn to those two. And then I started making music when I was around like 13. Um, just watching music videos again. What was that one? MTV Jams would be on all the time.
oh bro, I
One
remember that.
time, yeah, one time they played Yonkers, and I was like, yo, I never seen
Yeah,
a video like that in my life. So I was searching the internet trying to find that shit. Got into Odd Future, and I got into Cool Kids around the same time. So I think those two you can still kind of hear in my sound today, and like those are two of my main influences for sure.
or shout out cool. Okay, shout out Chuck English.
Yeah,
Um,
Mikey too.
man, Mikey too, man. It's crazy too because like so many of those artists, like, um, they're just so influential in terms of not even just hip hop, but just like pushing boundaries. Like I think, like even Mikey from Cool Kids is like doing. I think it was a solo project like a year or two ago where he was like doing like all this like cool like all like tune stuff and all this other stuff. And then like Yonkers, just like you get this answer from so many people when they say like seeing that Yonkers video because like I don't people really don't remember how crazy that was seeing the first time.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah, that was just super dope.
Nigga hung himself.
Um,
I was like,
word. So
what?
like,
That's allowed?
yeah,
That was wild.
it's like nobody was doing that, and it was just like the raw energy of it and everything. Like, man, um, that's why it's of course like super cool seeing Tyler in the space he's in. But so yeah, so like kind of got into it from those influences and stuff. So when did you kind of connect with like Drop Dead and like all those folks?
Honestly, it was pretty close to that time. Um, I was just like writing raps. I watched Tyler interview. I think it was the P&L interview. And then he was like, he produces everything himself. So that inspired me to download FL Studio on like my family computer, Pirate Bay. I ended up getting a virus on that shit. My mom was hella mad. But uh,
Dog.
yeah, just being on the internet a lot as a kid. There's this forum that we used to post on. It was the Odd Future forum. Um, and a little bit before that, there's this guy, Michael Uzururu. He had a Form Spring. He produces for like Frank and a lot of people now. Um, but I remember Ty
Mhm.
asked a question, and I checked out Ty's music just because it was through that. And then we ended up talking through there initially. We both posted on iFuture Talk and just kind of like bonded over that. And then over the course of time, just met other people through Reddit and other internet forums and then kind of clicked up. We all been working together since we were like 13, 14, 15 at this point. So it's been a while.
Right. So it's interesting to hear that because I mean, I don't know if like the like kind of blog forum kind of, I guess it still exists, but like you seldom hear that. Like this is even me thinking like with like hard rock music and like metalcore. I remember like early 2000s they had like MySpace and they were just on there deep and stuff. And it's kind of the same thing with like Kanye to the and stuff like that. That's just interesting when you hear people meet that way, because I mean that personally wasn't my experience, and I don't know if that's like still a thing, but yeah, that's actually kind of wild. Yeah.
For sure.
Um,
Sure. It's a
so
very
that's a
unique experience. A lot of people will be like, oh, like that's like Brockhampton, but like we kind of met at the same time Brockhampton met each other. Like, so that wasn't really our influence, if that makes sense. We were just all kids.
I think too. I mean yeah, like I said, if you're a collective, they're just gonna say, "Oh, this is like Brockhampton." But I mean, Brockhampton, they're a bunch of big Pharrell fans, so it's like it's kind of the same intersection. But I feel that. So, just gonna talk about like some music and stuff. So, want to talk about like making your first project, um, and then to also to kind of this Crybaby project that you're in the midst of, just kind of what all went into that. So, I guess we could, the first genre. Um, what really kind of was the experience working on that? Kind of what was going on while you're in that space.
Okay. When I was working on Gorgeous, it was uh I was still relatively new to Kansas City. I moved out here from Muskegon, Michigan, my hometown. Uh and we had just made our last group album, Dirt Bike. And I just had so much more to say as just like a person and like an artist myself. It's hard to like really get your thoughts across all the way when there's like such a big group dynamic going on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, like on a certain song, if it's like about getting fresh, you can't just talk about I don't know, packing up and leaving home, or like I don't know, you can't express certain topics. Like, so that was really like the reason I started to work on that album, just because I had so much more to say. And around that time I was getting better at production. So I was just producing a lot of songs, trying to write a lot of songs, just trying to like, I guess really hone in on my sound. Cause I'd had like solo projects before where I experimented and stuff, but this was kind of like the first step where my ideas met my talent level. Um, so yeah, I worked on that maybe for like a few months. I was just piecing stuff together at first, and then um, I redid like a bulk of that album maybe in like 2 or 3 weeks because I was like, all right, this first draft is kind of ass, and then I just went hard. I didn't really have a job around that time either, so I had nothing to do. Um, so yeah, it was really just me expressing myself, getting better at production. A lot of people say it's a little overproduced, but I feel like when you first unlock a skill, you just like go crazy with it, and then you
Yeah,
kind of pull it back and know what you're once you master it, you know?
yeah, no, I feel that. So you still using FL?
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy. I'm a big FL advocate because people always be saying all this stuff about FL. But it's interesting. I mean, I get this a lot. People say like, "Oh, it doesn't sound like you make your stuff in FL," but it's kind of the same thing for you because like, just like the sounds and like the textures, like even looking at Noah, that synth. I'm sorry, I was looking at my girlfriend in the background. The synth in the back, like that's in there, it's like so like wow. It's like, oh yeah, this not like what you would hear generally, like trap stuff or whatever. But I mean, I guess it kind of shifts to just like FL is like a great workspace for like electronic and all that other stuff. So I definitely kind of see it. But yeah, I would have never taken you for an FL user to be honest. That's
Oh,
wild.
yeah, thank you, thank you. FL is like my day one. I'm gonna always use that. I feel like I want to like get into like Ableton and those other programs, but FL is just so comfortable at this point.
Hmm.
But yeah, as far
Yeah,
as
like I mean, because I use Reason a bit. Oh, wait, what were we saying?
no, 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 go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was saying because like yeah, I've been getting into Reason. My parents got me. The reason is like it's cool, and I really love the workspace, but it's just that FL workspace so quick and so like you always get an idea out. Like that's why I just always gone back to it. Like but yeah. So I guess we'll talk about Crybaby. So kind of what is Crybaby for those that don't know, and kind of what was kind of the thought process behind the three EPs and things of that sort.
Okay. One sec.
Mm-hmm.
A little loud. But the Crybaby EP, the Crybaby series is essentially just like a set of three EPs. Kind of wanted to find a way to like uh, create an experience almost, something that a little more immersive than like the typical album rollout, and then just take pressure away from myself and be able to create more freely, because I feel like those albums, or whenever I make an album in particular, like I try to like really go hard and like have it flow and like all this other stuff that I guess like people don't really pay attention to, but it just matters to me a lot. It's because I feel like the discography is so important at the end of it all. Um, but yeah, it's a set of three EPs. The first one is Coco. They all have like a unique sonic direction. The one for this one is it's like more lighthearted, more summer inspired, kind of nostalgic. I want to play around with a lot more like organic textures this time around, just because in the past my work was just so synth heavy, and just see how people like that stuff. Nola isn't like Nola's the first single. That's probably the most synth heavy song on the project. So um, yeah, I'm excited to release the rest of the stuff. Got another single coming out November, and then project will be out before the end of the year sometime.
Word, word. Yeah, because even in that, I was like, how'd you get kind of? There's like a slight Cali thing that's in there with the back it up, slow it down, and it's like that little part where you can high key twerk that one little part, but was that was that kind of in there, like just like a slight like influence?
Wait, did you ask? Was there a LA influence?
Yeah.
I would say so. Just because a lot of like the music I gravitate towards is like more LA West Coast sounding. But for that, I really just wanted to make something like wanted to take that like Nola bounce sound and just like make it pretty, just like something I don't know,
Gotcha.
take it more traditional and make it work for me somehow.
Word, word. Okay, so that's really all the music questions. Now we just this about to be a little random, chop it up. But I don't know what you've been up with music, shows, stuff like that. What you really been doing?
Uh, Not much really. Uh, just been kind of like pushing out this new stuff, trying to get it in front of people, talking to bloggers, and then
Mm,
just trying to stay in the lab. I'm actually gonna work on some stuff today because I've been kind of slacking
word,
the past few weeks. Um, Other than that, just like trying to enjoy life. Started working out, just trying to get better at that. Just makes me feel better. Watching snowfall, watching what is that show called? Top Boy. Those are my favorite two shows right now.
dog. I gotta pick Top Boy back up because I watched a few episodes just to stick slang and everything. And I was just like, bro, what are they saying? I think it was like lower. It had like Jamaicans on it, and I was just like, bro, they're literally like talking in a language I don't understand. Um, I gotta tap back in with that though for sure.
My favorite season is the newest one. That one's like super sick.
Word. Yeah, I just be like in crime shows because like I grew up watching The Wire and stuff like that, so it's just like oh another show like that, yeah, but you know.
For sure. I actually haven't watched The Wire yet. My mom's like a huge fan of that show, but I need to sit around and watch it.
Oh man, one day you gotta just check it out. It's really dope. Um, I would say like out of I mean, there's some shows like that I would say like some of the best shows ever, but The Wire is for sure like up there. Dope. But word. So yeah, so that was really all I wanted to just kind of ask. Just wanted to, check in, chop it up a little bit, stuff of that sort. This will probably go on this will go on the YouTube for all Nubian. And then of course it'll be on the website. So yeah, you'll probably see it either later today or sometime tomorrow.
Okay, bet, cool. This is actually my second Zoom call ever. I had one like maybe 2 days ago. I did another interview with the dude, so that's cool. What else you been listening to?
Where it's been my life. It's literally all. Oh, me? Oh, bro. I'm so glad you asked. No, I really just been tapped in with a lot of Midwest math rock and just kind of shoegaze rock and stuff. Because I mean, what I'm working on right now, I'm working on a project that's kind of more in that vein. So I kind of really have to, for me, like when I do a project, I tend to find like a specific niche or a thing, and then I'll just like spend months just like studying it. So like I know in the past it's like, oh, if I'm doing like a neo soul or something like that, I have to like listen to it and learn, what the theory of it is and stuff of that sort. So that's really what I've been doing. Listening, to some jazz rock, like Tiny Moving Parts, Fall of Troy, um, and then of course Coheed, because that's like my favorite band ever, and they do have like a lot of those like influences in their earlier work. But really doing that, and like studying, it'll be like I'll be in my room and just listen to that. I'm like, oh, what is this guitar tuned to? And then I'd like try to do the special tuning, and kind of like just mess around with it, learn it.
Okay.
Um, that's really the space I've been in terms of like listening stuff. And then too, there's just like the other stuff. Like, I mean, I'm gonna listen to rap music for sure. I mean, Tyler, Neptune stuff is always like kind of in the rotation. And then there's like, 21 Key, like the stuff that I want for like, it's like, yeah, I just want some, that's hype or whatever. But yeah, and then Khalees too is like always in my I was really listening to Khalees the other day because I had this little hot take about Fergie, but I'm not gonna talk about that in this video. But it's just because like I'm super big into Khalees. I always feel like she was one of those artists to where her aesthetic and her music was very impactful for, women that, because we're seeing it now. There's so many women that are at that intersection of like rap and pop music, and she was doing it then with the Neptunes and stuff. Um, and I don't know if she gets her flowers enough for just how big that was for music, but yeah, that's my dog for sure. But I guess that's it, in terms of like what I've been listening to and stuff.
Okay. To talk about the Khalees thing, yeah, I definitely don't think she gets like her credit. There was just like a lot of weird stuff that happened in her career. Just like her first album not being able to like
Oh yes,
press, and then like coming out later that Pharrell like kind of gypped her over with the contract and all types of shit like that. But she's definitely like the blueprint for a lot of people. Just had like a super cool aesthetic early on.
yeah. And the Pharrell thing was so like discouraging seeing that, because it was just, I mean, granted, part of that was just like, oh, this is just kind of industry stuff, but um when we're looking at that period, so many other people. I mean, Britney Spears is kind of in a weird space right now in terms of like agency and what she's able to do, but like people still give Britney her flowers, or people still give on the Katy Perry's or kind of some of those other artists. They're like, oh, they did this and they influenced this, but it's like, dog, Khalees was literally making crazy records. It's like it's one of those things where she's genuinely one of those artists for me where like outside of like the milkshake and stuff like that, like the B-sides are crazy. There's literally some where you'll hear like, oh yeah, I could see Tyler creating this, or I could see this here, and it's just kind of cool being able to see that in her music. But one day she's gonna get her flowers. One day.
One day, yeah. Uh, one of my favorites is Ghetto Children off top. I love that song.
Oh, bro, yes. The whole album is just really sweet. But see that in that song too, it's like it's probably one of the most R&B songs of hers. It's like just like, oh, this just sounds kind of very R&B, but that song is brilliant too, and just in terms of what it like means and everything. Yeah, man, Kelly's is just dope. Okay.
stuff.
But
Well, thank you for the opportunity, bro. I know my
yeah,
connection is
man.
like a little spotty, um, so it might be a little choppy stuff, but I think it turned out cool.
Yeah. It should be smooth.
For sure.
But yeah, thank you for, of course, hopping on. And also to thank you for everything you're creating right now. It's needed.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, man. So you just be easy, dog. Stay safe. It's a whole invisible virus running out there. Folks
Yeah,
is down bad right now. So
most definitely. You stay safe as well, bro. I'll tap in with you soon.
yeah, for sure, man. All right, dog.
Bye, bro.
For sure. Peace.